What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris, and this is just a little update in regards to my custom collectible series. So a couple of days ago on Instagram, I put up a post saying in 2023, I may be ending the custom collectible series. And again, nothing was set in stone when I put this up. I was just going back and forth in my head about what to do in terms of the future of the custom collectible series. And everyone was so sweet, so supportive. Some people were treating it as if it was the end of the channel, which that's not happening at all. But what I found over, say, the last year, with every custom collectible I've been putting out within that time frame, I feel like I've just been essentially repeating myself. And someone brilliantly worded it like that in a comment on Instagram, and he was very supportive at the same time. But there definitely is a rinse and repeat to the last couple of custom collectibles over the span of this year and maybe bleeding into last year. I feel like at the moment I'm not challenging myself, and therefore if I'm not challenging myself, you guys aren't learning anything different. And look, I love the whole gimmick of, you know, the shoe polish, driveway dirt, dry brushing, all that stuff. It's good fun, it's simple, it's easy, and it works. But at the same time, I want to do something different for you guys. So after much deliberation and just back and forth in my head and a couple of sleepless nights, laying awake and being like, what the hell am I going to do? The custom collectible series is not going anywhere. I started this series at the end of 2015. The very first episode was uploaded on my birthday in 2015, and that was the Hulkbuster. And I had no idea that this series would blow up like it did. I just remember going into Toys R Us with my mates now and then, seeing these action figures and being like, hey, that would be fun to repaint. And I had also seen someone who had repainted the Hulkbuster toy, and I said, I want to do that. I want to make a video of it. I did, it blew up, and then all those beautiful Jack-specific toys were coming out, especially revolving around Batman v Superman and Justice League. So 2016, 2017 was definitely like, I think, I don't want to say the peak, but that's when the custom collectibles were really hitting hard in a good way. And what I've found over the years, it sort of has become a rinse and repeat thing. And I've always been aware of it in the back of my head, but I've always thought they're just fun to do. But it's come to the point now where I need to be doing something different if I do a custom collectible, because therefore you guys are hopefully going to be learning something different, something new, and something fun. And the idea of custom collectibles has always been doing something simple but effective. Like you don't have to go to the ends of the earth to get this effect. You can do it simple and on the cheap. That is always what I've tried to instill in custom collectibles. And granted, there are some methods and some materials that I use that can be expensive, especially like when you use like resins and silicons and stuff like that. But you know, just sprinkling those little bits in here and there with custom collectibles just to bring them up a couple of notches. If it's like the figure itself, if it's the diorama that we're doing and stuff like that. But always try and keep it simple and on the cheap. So moving forward, my idea with custom collectibles is I want to do them if it means something different. So I think it just means, and what I'm trying to say is, they're just going to be spaced out a little bit more, and I definitely have to choose them wisely. If I am going to do, say, like a McFarlane toy, it's probably going to be a very short, quick, express episode. I feel like that's the best when it comes to those figures. You guys don't need a half an hour to like 20-minute video of me painting a McFarlane toy. I always try and have a narrative with these videos and just try to have them make as much sense as possible, even though like when I dump all the raw footage into my editing software, it's quite a mess, and you've got to like confine it, chop it down. So usually with a big custom collectible, like take for example the Avatar amp suit, I think all up that was like an hour 15 of footage. There are times where I forget to hit stop on the camera and I'm still painting, and I look and the red dot's on like it is now, and I'm like, ah, shit. You're like taking up precious memory on the memory card. So I try and chop it down and confine it as much as I can and have a narrative with it. It's got to flow, it's got to make sense. But I feel with the McFarlane toys, and my God, they are coming out with so many cool McFarlane toys. And this is why I don't want to stop the series, because those are great little figures to paint, and I feel like they'll make great little short videos. They could be just under the 10-minute mark. Easy, simple. Granted, it may be repeating myself, but it could be for someone who wants to paint that particular figure and is maybe a little unsure of how to go about it. But when it comes to like the big projects, say for example, the amp suit or just something on a bigger scale, it has to be something different where I can challenge myself and therefore hopefully you can challenge yourself and learn something different, because that's what I've always tried to instill with the channel. Obviously, I do love my talky videos where I'm talking about entertainment news, movie reviews, stuff like that. Stuff that's trending and stuff that I want to talk about. Like obviously a couple of days ago, we had the fiasco with Henry Cavill no longer being Superman. I want to get into more video essays when it comes to costuming. I have written a video essay for the costumes of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 film, which I need to record and just want to put out there because again, I'm passionate about it. I think it definitely helps when you can see someone passionate about something and what they're talking about. And I love talking about costumes. I loved explaining to you guys how Ben Affleck was able to turn his head in his cowl. I want to do a video, and I've written that, of why Ben Affleck can't turn his head in the Justice League cowl, just for a bit of fun. And it also breaks up the monotony a bit of, you know, the custom collectibles, even though they're very sporadic in terms of how they're uploaded, with like, you know, some back to back, some maybe every month. And I forget the gentleman's name who posted that lovely comment, who was essentially like, yeah, dude, there definitely is a formula that's getting a bit repetitive. And he goes, I'm coming from a good place. And I'm like, 100%, man. I know for the longest time it's been very rinse and repeat, but again, I need to be doing something a bit different. So I think that's what I'm trying to say is, I'm just going to be choosing the bigger custom collectibles a lot more carefully. And I also said in my post, and this is not me being like, oh, woe is me, some of them can be very expensive to do. And that is completely on me. And I've been doing this for several years now. It does help, you know, if you can make your money back on, say, views, traffic and stuff like that. It definitely does help. And it's not about money and views all the time, but like I said in my post, after doing it for so long, it definitely does help. It gives you that little bit of a confidence boost. You're like, okay, cool, let's keep the momentum going. Let's see what's next. So again, I want to keep this video as brief and as simple as possible. It's not one of those things where it's just like, I've dreaded so long about making this video. I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to say this. No, it's nothing like that. I was definitely umming and ahhing about ending the series altogether in 2023, but I figured if there's some compromise there where it just means I have to just choose certain projects that are gonna be like, hey, what can I do that's different, that's essentially not repeating myself? Granted, yeah, I may use shoe polish, whatever's left of mum and dad's driveway dirt, dry brushing, all that stuff, because sometimes it's essential. But in terms of adding something different to each custom collectible where it's just like, oh, hey, that's an interesting take, that's an interesting spin on doing something, I want to do that. Especially when it comes to like dioramas and model making, I'm seeing all these beautiful techniques online that I want to try. Yeah, you know, with supplies from hobby stores and doing resin art when it comes to emulating water. I love all that stuff. But when it comes to like the McFarlane toys side, I definitely think there's always going to be a place for them because McFarlane is just pumping those things out. They're getting more and more detailed and a lot more fun to customize, but I think they definitely should just be like an express or quickie custom collectible. Again, you don't need a half-an-hour video in terms of painting that. You can really make the narrative at least under 10 minutes long, quick, easy, to the point, and it's going to keep your attention span there. Because when I have to proof these videos before I export them and they go for like 20 minutes, half an hour, I get bored, which says a lot, and that should not be happening. Now, in terms of the cosplay stuff, that's always going to be a thing. The prop building, that's always going to be a thing. The talky stuff, that's always going to be a thing. From day one, I've always said that this is going to be a bit of everything, and I know it's frowned upon in terms of the fucking algorithm. The algorithm does not like it when you do something different, but that's what I've always tried to have, is a variety channel. Now, I have created a second channel. It is sitting there. All the graphics are on it. And I just still want to try and keep this thing going in terms of Cosplay Chris being a variety channel. You know, you have your practical, creative side, and then you also have the talky side where you're talking about subjects that, you know, I'm passionate about and stuff like that. The live shows, they're always great to do. It's a great way to interact with you guys and stuff like that. So yeah, it is sitting there. maybe if worse comes to worse, that will be the channel solely dedicated to the talky stuff, the entertainment stuff, movie reviews and all that. I think also it's just the idea of starting another channel again from scratch is scary. It really is scary because the first time I started Cosplay, Chris, you have no idea what you're doing. You just go into it, you're like, hoo-ha, let's do it. And then you think about doing that again because it's a lot of hard work. It's a tough slug and you think, oh my God, whew, it's intimidating. So that's where we're at, Geeks and Geekettes. Again, I just want to be transparent, honest, upfront with you guys. I definitely was deliberating for a couple of days about whether to just discontinue the Custom Collectible series. And I know it's one of the draw cards of my channel, but ultimately I don't always want to be known for that. I love acting, I love doing the cosplay stuff. I just love doing a bit of everything, whether it's in front, behind the camera, stuff like that. In 2023, I want to do more acting. I've been really slack. I've been auditioning for the last couple of years. I want to get my headshots updated. I want to audition more because I fucking love acting as well. I love creating, I love building, I love acting, I love educating people. The amount of sweet comments you guys put on that Instagram post of how much you've learned from the Custom Collectible series has seriously just touch me in the best way possible. That sounds really bad. You know what I mean? But you guys have just been absolute fucking sweethearts. And that's one of the reasons why I don't just want to stop this series altogether. I've, gone over my head, how can we compromise here? And essentially it's just like, I just have to pick my projects, my bigger projects a lot more carefully and be like, what can we do different this time instead of the typical rinse and repeat method that I've been doing for the longest time. And of course, when it comes to the McFarlane toys, I think they should just be compacted into say like a 10-minute or under video. Easy to do. So that's it, Geeks and Geekettes. Again, just wanted to keep you in the loop. Just thank you for your continuing support. I'm also glad at the same time I'm aware of like how repetitive the Custom Collectibles have gotten, and that's why, it's good to go back to the drawing board, and it forces you to think on your feet and think, okay, what can we do different and mix things up, shake things up. If you don't try it, you don't know. But that's also what I do. I want to be learning new things, especially when it comes to the model making side, if we're doing dioramas and stuff like that. But essentially just have the big Custom Collectible projects where we're doing something different, and then also just do a lot of quickie Custom Collectibles, just express episodes with those McFarlane toys, any other figures that just require a nice, neat little paint job that isn't going to break the bank and isn't going to break the half-an-hour runtime. Guys, you're absolutely fucking beautiful. Thank you always for your amazing support, and also thank you for the constructive criticism in that post I made. You guys are just absolutely amazing. It's Sunday afternoon here. I'm going to go do some groceries, go have a quick cheeky train. I'm going to head up to JB Hi-Fi and see what McFarlane toys they got there and just plan stuff for next year, and maybe just have a stockpile just so I can do those quickie Custom Collectibles, but also look at the bigger picture with the bigger projects and be like, what can we do and how can we do it different? Guys, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Be merry, be silly. And until next time, Geeks and Geekettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.